What kind
They
of
have
graphic?
dedicated. They have dedicated server space. They're using it for Minecraft apparently.
What kind of graphics card do you use?
3080.
Oh,
That's a nice card.
I am on an integrated um i6, I think.
But
One plays on a controller and laptop.
but Jesus was using that when iRacing came out.
Hey, I got my lap. I got my lap. Woohoo. All right, let's take a look at that. So this ended up being on my second lap, and I was going for a first lap attempt at first. So my run-up is actually really bad. So there's actually a lot of time left in this lap, but I really liked how I drove this lap. So even if the lap time might be a little bit off from some people because there's no run-up, I like how I did the corners here, so we'll go off of this one. And then at the same time, if you want to do this outlap type deal, you just kind of park your car up top and then make a really straight line out of your exit coming down. Go into third gear in the middle of the corner. That'll really help you boost off the corner and get you multiple hundredths. But really easy to overdrive turn one when you see all that green in your relative. So just be disciplined. Okay. But instead, I was going for a normal corner here. So not much to say about this. I was just trying to make a normal corner. But anyways, we got an okay run to the line, but I definitely lost about 3 hundredths not having that third gear run up. So my braking point super duper early. I go from full throttle to brake. Just about, let's see, I don't really ever use markings. Just about right after the black sign here on the right. So right after this point is when I start braking, and you can use a lot of brake. So I'd go for about 60% brake. But here's the thing about braking in these cars. You want to do your braking to slow down in as straight of a line as possible. And then you want to do your braking for rotation, aka your brake drag, trail brake, whatever. You want to do that while turning. So we want to use as much brake while we're still on the straightaway so that we can be braking in a straight line. And then you see the moment I start turning in, my wheel, this motion is completely correlated to this going down. Okay, so take a look at my wheel and my inputs and see how they're tied together. Turn the wheel, lower the brake. One motion between hands and feet. Okay, and then we just bring that brake down to less than 20% a drag. And I'm just turning my wheel. So at this point in hot lap, you don't have to worry about tire wear too much. It doesn't really matter at Martinsville too much anyways, but I'm turning my wheel to keep the car off the curb. I'm trying to do a little bit of a late apex because in these cars, if you apex too early, you're going to slide up the track a little too much and you'll have to make a diamond shape. So in order to combat that, I'm going to try to turn down a little late so that instead of diamonding, I just hook the bottom once I make that slightly late apex and I'm able to throttle off the corner. So let's look at that without me slowing it down one more time. So on the brake, bring it down to a drag, use the steering wheel to induce a late apex, then back to gas partial throttle, drive it up the hill, and then once the wheel is getting straight, you can go full throttle. All right, 3 and 4, gonna be a bit of the same deal here, not too many differences. I used a little bit more brake here, and I'm doing a little bit earlier of an apex here. Sorry, that's wrong. I'm doing a bit of a later apex. I got mixed up in my turns. So you see how I'm not bringing the car all the way down to the line? That's because I'm using a lot of brake in the center of the corner to induce a super late apex to try to get that straight line launch off the corner. Okay. There's multiple ways to approach this corner. You can definitely wrap it a little more than I did, but I just found this way to be easier. You can get similar lap times, if not better, pretty easily. So braking, and then once I turn my wheel, I turn it down to a drag. And then I pick up partial throttle once my late apex is induced, and then full throttle off the corner launch. This is going to take a lot of practice because Martinsville is kind of like a road course where the braking points and throttle points and turning points are all timing based. There's not much room for creativity on the brake. You either make it or you don't. So it's all about being able to get that groove and then turn in a little bit of a late apex and then straighten that out. All right, so against my better judgment, I guess I'll go talk about long run. All right, so let's run a bit of long run here. And again, why really focus on the long run here? I'm not 100% sure, but hey, there's a chance that you'll get some long runs. Maybe. Potentially. Maybe like 20 laps, I would say. It's not unheard of. But yeah, for the most part, a lot of this race is just going to be about being able to keep your calm on the restarts, being able to hold the bottom, and being able to just not get run over. And like I was saying in the truck video, a lot of the same things apply here. If you make sure that the guy behind you is square to your bumper, it's a lot less likely that you just get outright dumped. A lot of the dumps happen when the bumpers are mismatched.
20.181.
I guess the number one way to make sure that you don't get dumped is to dump the guy in front of you, but hey, I'm not going to recommend that. So as long as you really get to this bottom and kind of get right on the curb, make sure that you're disciplined in your braking and you get it every time, there's really not much that anybody can do at this track in really any car. Smooth throttle off the corners is going to help a lot too. Not quite as aggressive as in the hot lap. That's always good. And then as the run goes on, you might want to turn your in-car brake bias down a little bit. It might make your entry a little more difficult, but it'll make your centers a lot more turny, which is good. Just taking it easy. So one big thing about Martinsville is you don't want to gas up before the car turns back down the hill. Oops, I overdrove that. But you see how my car makes a sharp turn down the hill? I'm not really inducing that. I'm just holding the brake until that happens. I'm what I like to call forcing the apex with my brake. Once the car forces that apex with the brake that I'm putting in, that's a good time to pick up the throttle.
20.046.
So even there, even though I was right on the white line, it felt like I could pick up the throttle. I was still waiting for the apex to be induced by the brake. Very big key to Martinsville. Will help your tire wear too, but I don't think tire wear is going to be a big issue. For strategy, I was kind of saying a similar thing in the truck video, but if you are in the front 5, I would say, you'd be really hard pressed to ever pit under green, or under yellow, sorry. Because I doubt that you'll have more than like 25, 30-ish green flag laps at the end of this race. And at that level, with the amount of split strategy there is, the quote-unquote fresher tires are going to be like marginally fresher than yours because of a mix of strategies and just how restart after restart works of evening out people's tires. I really don't think tires are going to do much unless you are stuck towards the back and want to make an aggressive move, but I don't recommend being towards the middle or the back anyways. So you see I'm kind of carrying too much speed into the corner there, and that's what happens. You kind of miss the corner and you kind of have to park it. So I'm just going to brake well, get to the bottom, let the car turn down on its own, then partial throttle and full throttle when the car is mostly straight. Really, it's not that much different than qual line, except just a little more chill all the way around. But besides that, don't have too much to say on Martinsville. I don't consider this to be much of a race. It's more of like a parade usually. But if you're able to get a good race, it's a good combo if you can get a good race in. But other than that, thank you all for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all on the track.